We turn to you now to make a new start. More than just tears, we give you our hearts. Let the people cry and call.
Hello, everyone. Here we are together again on a beautiful day in Kansas City. I hope it's great wherever you are. And I've got Zion Vieira with me again today, sitting in for Kathy, who's recovering very well from knee surgery, knee replacement. Tomorrow we go back to the surgeon, and I don't know what he'll do. He's gonna look at it,
examine it.
Yeah, but she's been doing really, really well, better than I expected. The one problem I have, Zion, is she's starting to get used to having you sit here, and she doesn't have to because she's a very busy person, and these are going well. Maybe Zion can be the superstar now.
Oh.
Well, I guess you'd be the sidekick.
Yeah, the side. Yeah.
You'd be like that guy they've been texting me about, the guy on Dancing on the Stars. He can't dance. His name's Andy. He was the sidekick to.
He's just carried along.
Yeah. What was that late night show with Conan? He was Conan's sidekick guy, and he can't really dance that well, but people like him so much. He keeps
personality.
Yeah. So I got a text. I got a text last night said Andy's still on. So
that's funny.
I've never really watched it. I've never seen the show actually, but Allie, our granddaughter.
I know she likes it.
She likes it, and lots of people. I'm surprised the people in our church that like to watch Dancing with the Stars. But anyway, so they keep me up. Oh, when and all that. So anyway, I forgot why I told you that. Oh, because
Her
sidekick.
Knee. Yes, sidekick.
Now that's you. You're next time you're going to be dancing.
Carried along. Yeah.
But anyway, Zion, there's so many things going on in the world just recently. We still, of course, have the Middle East going on. Hamas is still saying, "Oh, we got another body. We just got to find it, dig it up, and bring it." So I don't, But anyway, it's better. Human aid is getting there. Humanitarian aid. It's better. Tricky, and there's still conflicts between Egypt and Turkey right today, and just so there's so much going on over there.
Yeah.
And of course, the war in Ukraine, and who can you trust? Apparently, we got a good deal with China, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe. I hope so. We got the soybean producers are going to be happy because it's a ton for them.
Yeah, I heard a lot about the AI stuff.
Yeah,
switching around too.
Switching
on owning that, and that could be huge for the future.
But the biggest news probably today and all over news is the election that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
In two states, and of course New York City was the biggest news. I think it was 2 states, not 3. It was Virginia, New Jersey. Was there another one?
I don't know. I only heard about Virginia and New York City.
Yeah, and both of them elected Democrats.
Right.
It wasn't too bad of a race. It was close. I think some of the Republicans got a late start. But it is a little bit of a sign that I want to talk about. But the biggest story, of course, is that New York City elected what some people call a socialist and some people call a communist.
Right.
You remember we had a discussion first before we get into that. It might have been on a podcast. Maybe it wasn't on Facebook. But you and I brought to you a theory that 150 years ago or whatever, I have it on paper. But anyway, we ought to know when the Bolshevik Revolution is. They're going to tell
Bolshevik. How do you spell that?
I don't know. It's about 150 years ago, and it's so long ago that people don't understand if you don't study it.
1917, 1923, the Russian Empire.
So how many years ago was that? Well,
about 109.
Ish. Okay, 100 years ago.
110. Yeah, 108.
So 100 years ago. Okay. And when you're some of your ages, 100 years seems like 100 years.
Sure, yeah.
But you get up there and, and all of a sudden you're 50 and you realize, oh, I'm halfway to 100. I'm halfway a century. And you get to be my age and said, well, that's not so far off, is it? Not such a big number. Okay, so 100 years ago, we got it. Was the Bolshevik Revolution. And we simplify it here. We're not trying to create detailed history. But just the general concept of it is they had a czar. And matter of fact, as you know, we're doing Anastasia at Lee Summit Academy. When is it?
Next weekend.
Next weekend.
Yeah. Next weekend.
And it depends on what people think next weekend is.
Yeah.
Next weekend is coming this weekend. But I would think
15th and 16th.
if you ask me next weekend, that's a week from this weekend.
Yeah,
now, the
I would
weekend
agree.
coming is this weekend.
Right.
It's coming.
Yeah.
But some
Next
people
weekend's
don't.
the following. Yeah, yeah.
So it's the following weekend. But anyway, and of course that's the beginning of that story is the Bolshevik Revolution, where historically all of the czars, Romanov family, were all killed. But in this, it's a kind of a play on maybe one of the girls lived and they go searching Anastasia. Well, anyway, they came and they killed all the Romanov kids and the czar and that, and so they brought a different idea, and it was communism, and so they all thought it would work, but it's different. It's interesting that they didn't want a czar, which reflects real heavily on a king,
right?
A king, and we just had the no
king protest.
Yeah. But it's similar, and so I want to talk about that because what I think is happening is in the Democratic, I'd mentioned to you probably on a podcast, in the Democratic Party right now, it's very similar now to the Bolshevik Revolution, where socialism, communism is leaning in really hard. And why do people go for it? Because and they did. Now we should probably mention that it didn't work,
right? Because
they did it and they didn't want a king. What they got is a dictator. I titled today, "Life is not fair." It's not going to work no matter who you put in there.
Right.
If humanity with its evil leanings and selfishness gets in, then it's just a different kind. So, but they promised that, you know what they promised? We're going to make life fair.
Yeah,
we're going to take everything, whether it be on the socialism level or the heavier communism level. So we're all going to work, and we're all going to do it, and we're all going to share everything, and there'll be no class system.
Elite class,
no class system.
Yeah.
Which actually, if you study the class system, I think that really came. It didn't come from America. Americans didn't set up. We have the middle class. Well, we picked that up from other nations. We didn't have that. But anyway, and so then there you go, and Lenin, and then Stalin. Did you know Stalin was maybe a worse terror than Hitler? But because he was on our side, nobody brings that up.
No one, yeah.
But
everyone's okay with it.
But the Russian people, did you know that more people and more civilians died in the when Hitler tried to take over Stalingrad, the Battle of Stalingrad, and the Battle of Russia? More non-military civilians died than military. But if you put it together, more Russians died in World War II than all of those killed on German and American side put together.
Wow.
That's huge.
I did not know that. That's wild.
Yeah. Now think about that a little bit. that happened because they were still communists then. Well, they're still communists now.
Right.
But okay, so they go and then they decide to kind of copy the United States and get a Soviet communist union. And they got all these nations together. Yeah. And then that collapsed and the Berlin Wall came down, if you know what that is. And so the whole thing has not worked until right now Russia's in a war with Ukraine because they need things. They need things, and they want some of that land back for the economy, blah, blah, blah. Okay, many reasons. But they never did get to really live in prosperity and peace. And it didn't work. And so instead of it sharing everything, the lower class, middle class, they get less because they're sharing everything. Right. And the upper rulers live in palaces.
Yeah, right.
It's just, so it didn't work. Right. Okay. So right now, we have a Bolshevik type revolution where socialism and communism is being offered to the American people. And why would they go for it? Well, the first started out in New York City, at least. And my concern is it'll spread, but I'm also know that it doesn't work. So the faster it gets in and the faster it doesn't work, the faster it'll be gone.
Yeah, sure.
Because we have a stronger alternative here than a czar,
right?
Who was ruling. Okay, so in New York City they elected. He's called a socialist. We all know he doesn't hide it. He's anti-Jew. He's anti-Semitism. He's for Antifa. Antifa. He's for that. And you think,
it's
why?
A terrorist organization.
Yeah,
really.
terrorist organization. Strange things are being said about 9/11 and stuff. All that. Okay, so why would people go for that? I know the Jewish people today are really concerned, and they
Mhm.
should be. And some Jewish people in New Jersey are very concerned, and they should be.
Mhm.
But so anyway, why would people go for it? Well, the bottom level, first of all, is um, he offered free everything,
Right.
and he still does.
Mm.
I think he's backed away from it a little bit, though.
Yeah.
Like free buses, grocery
Public
stores
transportation. Yeah.
are going to
everything.
now, and just everything. We're going to get
Mhm.
everything, and there's going to be a lot of free stuff for you that the rich people should pay for.
Right.
Well, that's Bolshevik too, because the rich are having it. We're going to take money from the rich.
Right.
Oh, it's about Robin Hood too, isn't it?
Mhm.
We're going to take money from the
Yeah.
rich, and we're going to spread it around so it's all fair and equal. Did it happen? Absolutely not. It was just corrupt people, Marxism,
Mm.
corrupt people figured out a way to sell a deal to
Right.
get rid
Make
of
it
a
sound
czar,
good. Yeah.
and that get
Get
them
them in power.
to
Yeah.
say, hey, we're here, we're going to make it fair.
Yep.
And then they lived in luxury, and the others struggled and struggled and
Mhm.
struggled, and many through the wars died. Okay,
Mhm.
so we have a Bolshevik revolution, in my opinion, in the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
We have Democrats that do not like the new mayor of New York City. They don't like his policies,
Mhm.
but he's overwhelming them. And something happened then in this election. I think that they hoped it didn't happen. We understand that if you take those that are on food stamps or whatever they call it now, and welfare and like
Mhm.
that, and you start offering them, we're going to make it free for you.
Sure.
That's pretty
It's
enticing.
appealing.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. You know, like a church that wants to invite people to come, and they put up a big sign, free hot dogs,
Yeah,
or something.
right.
Okay, it's enticing. So that's the first step that got the ball rolling.
Mm.
But what happened, I think, in this election is bigger than that. I think middle class people, who lots obviously.
Right.
I think it was close race. I haven't caught all the latest
haven't
numbers,
either,
but
yeah.
anyway, I just looked who won. But
Mm.
anyway, middle class. You're kind of middle class now.
Sure.
Yeah. Once a low life, now middle class, right?
Slowly
I was the
working up.
same. I was the same way. Okay, so the middle class then showed a personality, and I think that's the danger probably here in our country, is that the middle class, regular folks,
Mm.
particularly in the bigger cities where you got to drive a long way, prices are high.
Yeah.
They come into the same thing that happened in the Bolshevik Revolution. I don't think they came in and says we want it free.
Mm.
I think they're feeling like this isn't fair.
Right.
It's not that they don't want to work. It's not that they don't want to have a job.
It's just you're doing all that
It's
for
just
what?
like, yes, this
Right.
is so hard. I can't. I don't know what. I'm not well trained. I
Mm.
don't know how to think.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was raised maybe in a one-parent family, which doesn't really matter in that way. But
Mm.
like that's not fair either. It
Right.
makes it harder.
Disadvantages.
Yeah, disadvantages. And then we have the advantaged ones, the billionaires, supposedly millionaires, running the government.
Mhm.
That's the key, one of the key things in the Bolshevik Revolution.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden it's like I'm not wanting to get a free ride on the bus, but I want it to be more fair.
Yeah.
I want
Right.
it to be easier. So they
Mhm.
feel like I kind of need help.
Right.
And would somebody help me? And the government doesn't seem to be helping me. I want to speak up a little bit for our government now that a lot of this frustration is inherited from the previous administration. I
correct.
was getting frustrated.
Correct.
I liked it. Let's see. Yesterday or the day before, went to buy gas, $2.49.
Yeah. It's nice.
And it was heading toward, in other states higher, but it was heading towards $4 and $5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was getting up there.
Yeah. I wish people would see that.
Yeah.
if we-
Recognize it.
if we
yeah.
give it time, even if you don't like the administration, you don't like
Right.
President Trump personality or whatever. Look, you should like
Things are
that
getting
gas
easier.
prices.
Yeah.
And if the socialism comes in, things are not going to come down. The
Mhm.
key to it is we're going to let somebody else pay for it more, and we're going to
Yeah.
make it more fair for you. It's not that they don't want to work at all.
Right.
And that's a new thing
Right,
that's
it's a
just
new
now
attitude,
kicking
yeah.
up its heels, is a new group of people, class of people that are not wanting a handout. They just
Mhm.
want to feel like somebody's helping them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not
They're
one
making progress. They
Yeah,
wanna
and I'm
feel,
probably
yeah.
not one to talk to about this because I grew up in a hardship situation, but it never crossed my mind to ask for help.
Mm.
I don't know why. It's just the two generations of my grandparents and parents. You just work for yourself, and if somebody wanted to help you,
Sure.
it's okay.
Yeah.
They did during the Depression. People needed help. My
Mhm.
both of my dad's family, my dad's family, they're such they're the generous, really generous side.
Mm.
Even I love my cousins too. They're all, most of them, they're all generous,
Sure.
loving. My cousin, that's here in town, and they're so generous and loving. Well, my dad and her dad, they and his dad, they opened a grocery store during the Depression.
Well,
But
I've heard about this.
yes,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
couldn't keep it open because people couldn't pay, and they said, "Well, you can
Just
pay us
giving
later."
things out. Yeah.
So they had to close it
Mhm.
and they started giving it away free, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
The other side and Kathy's side too, both her grandfather and my natural grandfather who passed early, both worked for the railroad, and so that was a great job. So people would come to your door and ask for food, and you give it to them,
Sure.
but you didn't make them feel bad about it.
Yeah.
That was a real crisis. But anyway, so I think the problem we have now is it's like maybe I would like help. I need help in some way. I can't get a house, or
Right.
gas prices were bad. Food has gone up.
Mhm.
My opinion is they should give it more time, and I think they're going to like it. But still, that's in it. And if you'll notice, one of the biggest culprits in changing our culture goes clear down to kindergarten for the last 20 years. It's not fair. Oh, that's not fair.
Yep.
That's not fair. And as a
It's implanted in you.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's entered the church too, because the church folks think they read their Bible in fairness, not
Right.
in justice.
Right. Yeah.
And not so it's not just, that's different.
Mhm.
But the Bible says that God is always just and right.
Right.
But they're not thinking in terms of justice, because while they are thinking free, some people think free stuff,
Mhm.
and others are thinking, well, maybe I'll get some help.
Yeah.
But they're not thinking justice, because you might not be able to go down to the grocery store anyway because it's unsafe,
Right.
or it's not safe, or it's not safe for your kids, or what happened yesterday, it's not safe for your daughters now in the locker room
Mhm.
in Virginia.
Mhm.
I think I got the right one. Yeah. Whichever one it was that they asked her in a debate, would you allow
Yeah,
your
yeah.
daughters? And she just
Right.
stood there. She had no answer
Yep.
to be in that locker room with a man. And she
Yeah.
had no answer. So, that's that's the justice side, and people revolting against the justice, but they want to make it fair.
Mhm.
Okay, so I tuned in on life is not fair because people are not fair.
Yeah.
They go to self-centeredness right away.
Sure.
This is an appearance of fair that only makes it unfair.
Mhm.
And it's interesting that the new mayor of New York City isn't he comes from a billionaire family.
Right.
And I think he's had it. His alignment is what is fair to him and what's fair to somebody else, or what's free, because
Yeah.
he lived free.
Right.
Everything he got was free,
Mhm.
and like they say, he never had a job and things like that.
Mhm.
So I think it's for us to get it in our heads that life is not fair. If you go out, and I'm talking to the Christian believers now and the church
Yeah.
folks,
Yeah.
life is not fair, and it won't be fair. If no matter who gets in there, it's not going to be
Right.
fair. The only way you can make it fair, and you'll know the answer to this, is if you don't have the Spirit of the Lord to help your conscience,
Mhm.
to help you be just, to help you be morally right, and help the poor. Yeah, of course.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's out of a different thing. We're not trying to be fair.
Right.
We're trying to be loving. We're
Yeah,
trying to be
generosity.
caring.
Yeah.
Yes, it's generosity. I live a generous life.
Mhm.
The side that gets into power during the fair thing, or the Bolshevik Revolution thing, is they're not trying to be loving and caring.
Right.
They didn't get in there to be generous.
Right.
They got in there to be powerful.
Control.
Yeah, of course. The new mayor isn't going in there to be fair.
No.
He's in there to
Right.
be powerful.
Yeah.
But he's
Preaching
using
the message of fairness.
fairness
Yeah. Yeah. It's
for
all
everybody.
facade. Yeah.
And so that's why communism doesn't work. Socialism doesn't work. We found that we're the most prosperous country in the world because of capitalism.
Right.
People go out and work. And by the way, for people that don't know their Bible too well, the Bible Paul actually said, if you don't work, you don't eat.
Mm.
That
Yep.
would be, that's not fair.
harsh message.
Yeah. Is that fair? Yeah, it is.
Right.
See, he's actually being fair, even though the Bible
It just you don't like hearing
it's,
it.
yeah, it's really just, but and so now we have the opening. mentioned, was it last week? I know I mentioned it in the church. London, the beautiful city of London, is now a Muslim city.
Mm.
It's run by Muslims. If people listening, if you don't care, if you think that's okay, because it is what it is, and it's not going to change because I say anything.
Right.
But London is not the same city in who they elect and what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as I told you, I got a message that a person sent me, and they said the biggest thing that we need now is to tell the Jewish community, get out now.
Yeah.
It's everything is hidden right now, especially anti-Jew.
Right.
Now we have an expressed anti-Jewish person in the most powerful, biggest city in our nation, and he's the mayor.
Yeah.
Boy, if I were a Jewish person, I wouldn't live in New York.
Yeah,
anymore.
no, I would.
I'd take my money and go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of businesses are actually.
I think that's what they're going to do.
Go downhill quick.
And so part of the problem is it's going to take a while for him to even get his programs going. And by the time they get going, then you're locked in.
Yep.
But and the other thing is to watch for is when a person promises all this, then they get elected, and then they just kind of lollygag along and don't do all the programs like the free stuff and all that, because that's not really what they wanted.
It's not logical.
They wanted to be in power. Now they're in power. Now they don't care, and they just keep promising and try to get reelected under the promise. Well, it'll be the next term reelected.
We have time. We have to have
so I get 4 years to be in power and establish myself. In the meantime, what we're doing is, though, we're tapping into that fairness mode that you probably understand it better than I do in your generation and some above you, that I don't know. I mean, fair on the playground is so powerful.
Sure.
You run to the teacher and say, that's not fair.
Yeah.
And then the teacher says, oh, that's
Gotta
a
make
sin.
it fair. Yeah,
that's
right.
Sin.
Yeah.
That's the gravest sin. We'll make it fair. I'm going to make it fair.
Sure.
And so you grow up with that is, in my opinion, that's the way life is supposed to be. I hesitated because I wanted to take a sidebar. Unfortunately, most of our culture up to now, it's changing, has been raised, women have raised most boys and
very
girls.
Feminized culture.
Yeah, and women would get a little more upset about it's not fair, where some guys, some, not all, would say, well, just go back and play and go play with somebody else or go try something else.
Get over it.
Just we can't stop unfairness totally. But men do it too. But men are starting to pick up and that, so we really have a culture war going on.
Yeah.
We've got men who, as you know, on campuses are coming, as we mentioned last week, they're coming to prayer meetings instead of beer meetings.
Yeah.
And they're seeking God. Something's happening. That's going, and as I expressed too, the other kingdom of darkness, though, if it's anti-Jewish, it's dark.
Right.
Now, that's not promoting Judaism. If it's anti-Christian, it's dark.
Sure.
If it's anti-Muslim, it can be dark too, unless whether it be anybody. I mean, if Jews were singling out Muslims to kill them, we'd say it's darkness is in it. It's evil.
Yeah.
But that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
So obviously there's anti-Semitism and people who are calling for Jews to be killed and politicians to be killed.
Yeah.
That's all going on while young men on the campuses are meeting candlelight prayers.
Right.
So what a day we live in. Yes. Yeah. And so those men that are rising I don't think they're going to say fair. I think they're looking for justice.
I don't think they'd be looking for fairness.
No,
in that situation.
Because they've had it.
Yeah, that's what they've grown up with. They don't want it.
And so we have a new generation. So exciting times, but dangerous too in some ways. And I think the danger is not so much offering everything free. That'll spread to other cities, some of them, and some will do that, but they're not going to be able to deliver because I like it if you're a billionaire like the new mayor of New York City. Does he think if he makes it fair for everybody and opens up free everything, that it's not going to affect his money?
His income. Well, it depends on who's funding him, really, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Where his money is. It might be overseas.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Right.
I wanted to say today, get rid of that because no matter what, it's going to happen unless the Spirit of the Lord is getting us to be just and right and righteous and generous and caring and loving. where the fruit of the Spirit is love and joy and peace, and the dark side of it is rage and anger
Hatred
and that
violence.
and that's what you see. The two are colliding.
Yep.
And we don't want them to collide inside us, where we got a war inside of us. So get rid of the idea it's fair, because even if we win a political ticket on fairness for everybody, it's not going to stay fair. It won't be fair.
Right.
It'll appear fair, and then you'll be supporting rich people again.
Yeah.
So
in a worse position, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Less.
Yeah. Right.
Because socialism and communism causes
lowers
poverty.
You,
yeah.
Right.
Lowers you. And so that's my speech. I'm not a politician. Not trying to be political, because my final word is we've got to be spiritual.
Yeah.
Only the Spirit of God can wake people up and say, I don't want to get something for nothing. I want to be generous. I want to be more like God. I want to be more like Jesus. I want to be more like the Bible teaches us, because it works.
Yeah.
The Bible system works. The kingdom of God works. But it's hard. It's really hard, because as I'm trying to preach the kingdom of God in our church all the time and get people to change their minds about things, the culture comes in.
There's internal conflict in the people.
Internal conflict. It's not fair. Or why should I have to give my money when you have a lot? The person sitting next to me has more money than I do.
Right.
Let them pay for it. I shouldn't have to, because I'm struggling. They don't get the kingdom of God works for everybody if everybody gets on board. So it's just and right. So anyway, we rambled enough about that, but that's my thoughts on it, especially the election, where some people are going to yell about the free stuff. I'm thinking about people are looking for fairness, which doesn't exist in any culture around the world.
Yeah. It's true.
Nice talk. I did most of the talking, but you did
fine.
good too. Yeah, you're a good sidekick. Yeah. So till next time, get all this in, and till next time, bye-bye.